I like turtles. I like turtles. I like turtles. I like turtles. Turtle. Dum beat. 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 Turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. Turtle. I like 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 turtle. Turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle.
All right, what's up, Turtle Riders? How's everybody doing tonight? Good, excellent. Give me 1 sec here. One moment. I'm just finishing posting these to Facebook, and we're good. Okay, excellent. All right, guys, let me adjust that cam right there. How's that looking? All right. Excellent. All right, so welcome to the Turtleboy live show, ladies and gentlemen. I have shared this link to the stream on the Clarence Woods Emerson Facebook page, as well as the, give me 1 sec, there we go, as well as the Uncle Turtleboy Facebook page and the, give me some light in here, will you? Come on, what happened there? How's that looking? Is that okay? What the? Oh, there I am. All right. So I've shared it to the Uncle Turtleboy page, the Turtleboy Sports page, the Clarence Woods Emerson page. Go ahead and give all those a like, will you? Man, that's too bright. All right. How about that? That work? All right. I've also shared it and like all those pages if you haven't already too. Share it up. Let people know we're here. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you're smashing that subscribe button. We're getting close to 16,000 followers. That's pretty cool. Also, I've shared it on Twitter. Get at me on Twitter, guys. I've been on Twitter for a hot minute. I'm at Dr. Turtleboy. You can also find me at Turtleboy Phone. I'm widely accessible on social media on different platforms. There's a million ways to consume Turtleboy. It's all out there. So, okie dokie. Yeah, what is up with that? Why is it so fucking hot? Like, why is it so bright? I don't know. Whatever. Let's talk about this. Let's just jump right into the thick of it. By the way, if you guys feel like donating to the program, you may notice there's a little dollar sign at the bottom of the chat where you guys are talking. It's called a super chat. If you donate money in that thing, then you get to write a message, and that message comes up on the big screen, and it looks really cool. So you get like a color and everything. So again, this is kind of like a crowd-funded venture that I got going on here. I love doing it. But it's kind of like dependent on Turtle Riders because we don't really have many sponsors around here. Nobody wants to advertise with us because they'll get, harassed, targeted, stuff like that. So we make it easier for everybody to just make it a crowdfunded show. Okie dokie. The super chat is even on YouTube. Excellent. Yeah, cool. All right, let's get this party started, shall we? So what we're here to talk about tonight is the story that's kind of dominated the week thus far. You never know week to week what's going to happen. And the timing is interesting because Monica Cannon Grant just won Ratchet Madness. What the hell? Where'd it go? Where'd I go? There we go. All right. So Monica just won Ratchet Madness, and just like clockwork, just like that, she's back in the thick of things. And she had just, the other day, she made Turtleboy for a completely unrelated thing. What did she do the other day? Who did she threaten? I don't know. Somebody she threatened. She did something inappropriate. Oh, she went after Eugene Rivers, the black guy who's a reverend in Boston, the civil rights leader. And she went after him for like not being a douchebag enough or something. I don't remember. But anyway, she woke up on Sunday and decided that she was going to declare war on the town of Hopkinton. So about On April 18th, the body of a 16-year-old girl named Mikayla Miller was discovered in a small wooded area on West Main Street, 34 West Main Street. And she'd hung herself. And it was sad because as a teenager, we find out that the girl, who is black, she apparently, she's a lesbian, which is great. She had a girlfriend and they broke up, as these things sometimes happen in high school. And then she got a new girlfriend. And there was some sort of beef there between the two. Now, this is hardly the first person to find themselves in this situation who hasn't been there before. And apparently there's like some clubhouse in the condo. I don't know if Mikayla lives in this condo or what. But there was some type of altercation there that had happened the previous night before her body was found. And I'm hearing different reports from people that it was physical or not physical. Apparently she got assaulted, right? I don't know if she hit somebody. I don't know. I wasn't there. Okay. But there was an altercation. And later that night, she committed suicide. Now, what Monica Cannon Grant is basically alleging here is that this was not a suicide. This was a racially motivated murder. A racially motivated murder. Now, does she have any evidence to this to back this up? No, of course not. Monica never does. This is just what Monica does. Okay. For those of you unfamiliar with Monica Grant, maybe this is your first time on Turtleboy. Let me tell you a real quick story here. Okay. Let's just run through what this woman is all about. And remember, this is the woman leading the charge here to legitimize the investigation into Mikayla Miller's death. So Monica Cannon Grant, we first came across her in 2017. She is the de facto leader of Black Lives Matter Boston, only because she has appointed herself that. She just yells louder than everybody else. The political establishment in Boston is scared of her because she will yell at them and call them a racist. And quite frankly, Marty Walsh doesn't want to deal with that. And she started a nonprofit 2 or 3 years ago called Violence in Boston, which has never filed its paperwork, has brought in millions of dollars in donations from all over the place, all these corporate sponsors, sports teams. They made a lot of money off of the George Floyd killing in June. They were banking in hundreds of thousands of dollars in that month alone. And how did she become powerful? Like, why are people scared of her? Well, here's an example. In 2017, there was an incident at a Bridgewater Elementary School, Mitchell Elementary School. And she's like, demand that this teacher be fired. Ask her why this is okay. And it's a picture of a woman and 2 children and then a black kid on the floor on what appears to be, when you first look at it, it looks like a leash or something, right? And all the kids are laughing, including the black girl, by the way. Well, Monica demanded that this was like racist and stuff like that. Well, here's what really happened. This was something called the Plymouth Plantation puts on this thing called tethering. It's like a demonstration of how babies learn how to walk in the old days, in the 1600s. And that's apparently how they learn how to walk. It's like a leash type thing. And the black girl in class, like they take volunteers. Who wants to be the baby? The black girl's like, I'll be the baby. Now, what was the Plymouth Plantation woman supposed to say? No, honey. No. You see, there's this thing called systemic racism out there, and Twitter, Twitter and Facebook. And if we put this picture out there, there's this organization called Black Lives Matter, and they're led by this rabid cheese hog named Monica Cannon Grant. Oh, yeah, she's scary. And if we put this picture out there, she's going to totally misinterpret it. And then she's going to call our school racist and send a mob after us. So anyone can be the baby except for the black girl. You're not allowed to be the black girl. You have to sit in the back of the class. Okay. You can't come up here. So basically Monica wanted her to discriminate against this child because Monica Cannon Grant is an avowed racist. She doesn't hide it. She readily admits that she's racist. And this is the kind of thing that she does. Okay. So she sent like a mob after her. All these people were going after her. So fast forward, and of course there's all these other videos that you guys may have seen before. Let me just play her greatest hits highlight. This is her, where'd it go? This is the one. Is this the rant for the ages? No, this is
that
not.
Marty Walsh don't have a.
Oh my God. I'll just play some brief clips here because I love reliving these. I know most of you have seen them already, but that's okay. We're going to change our mic here. Okay.
Violence prevention plan. Only jobs he could fucking offer is construction jobs. Like he funneling everybody to work with their motherfucking hands. Like our kids don't have fucking talents to do anything else. And on a Sunday, on my fucking dead-end street, you got 6 fucking cop cars for 1 fucking kid. And I'm supposed to be happy that you're black sitting in a fucking seat? Fuck that. Fuck all of that. I want to be real clear. Fuck that. Because if you black, I can't tell.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be, we have a black police. This is the first time in history. We got a black police commissioner.
So she is a raving lunatic. Here she is, what is this one? This one, fuck the police.
Y'all don't get to fucking keep and fucking abolish cash bail. Fuck your bail. They're literally getting rich off of fucking bail, and they're so ignorant and so disrespectful, but we're supposed to believe that they're there to protect and serve us. FTP to the fucking death of me. I love y'all. I'm appreciative. Y'all don't get to fucking keep
that's not even that good.
Fucking abolish cash bail. Fuck your bail. They're literally getting rich off of fucking bail, and they're so ignorant and so disrespectful.
Speaking of ignorant, hold on one sec. It shorted out of me there. Let me play this one. Where's the good one? Is this the one where she goes? Misunderstandings.
We're gonna have a lot of misunderstandings in this city. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Y'all pick the right one.
Okay, so that's nice. But of course, the really famous one was, here's her greatest hits one. Let's just play the greatest hits.
It is to wake up black, regardless of how many educated gang symbols you have at the end of your name, regardless of how close in proximity you are to white supremacy, regardless of how many white penises you ride. And I ain't mad at you, sis, because if you riding that motherfucker for a credit score, get you that house, boo. Get your 40 acres in your mule. Just don't forget that you's a nigga. Okay? Okay? All right, cool. That's where we at. And what?
Thank you, Heather.
Somebody don't get some racial bias training to these white officers. We are one incident away from a race. One incident away from a fucking race war, but just misunderstandings. We're gonna have a lot of misunderstandings in this.
So you guys get the point.
Fuck the police. Fuck the police.
I mean, this
fuck
is
the police. Abolish cash bail. I've been doing this shit by myself. Y'all don't come for me, and I didn't fucking send for you. I don't need nobody to be on my team. I've been doing this shit by myself for how long? It's back. Today is the day. Y'all better come collect y'all's offices, and that's not a fucking threat. Because y'all sit and talk about police relations and community police fucking relations, and all of these fucking motherfuckers having these basketball events taking pictures with cops. And y'all ain't telling these fucking babies that these are the same cops that are gonna beat the shit out of them and run the fuck up on them. When you pick the right one today, I'm gonna sit here for a good.
It's just so aggravating.
Anything that happens in City Hall, I get notified by City Hall.
She's not lying.
What that means is that there's motherfuckers working in City Hall that gives me the alley-oop. They call me from inside of meetings. They call me from inside of City Hall.
They do.
They call me and hit me up and give me the drop on shit. How is it that the bitch that's in the bed on maternity leave knows everything that's happening in City Hall? So maybe
Boston Globe put her as one of the top 100 influencers in Boston. And that's not entirely wrong. Like, she has actual influence. She has like connections at City Hall. Thank you very much, Brittany. She has actual connections at City Hall. She knows like powerful people. She was on WGBH, which we're going to be into tonight. And so this woman is like, and people say that about me. Oh, Turtleboy, you swear, that ruins your legitimacy. What? All this woman does is swear. Fuck the police. Maybe if I was saying fuck the police, fuck the police, fuck the police, then I could gain a little bit of legitimacy. But no, I call people fupaslaws, and that's drawing a line. Or that's crossing a line, rather. Good Lord. So anyway, back to this situation. So this week, she decides that she's going to get involved in the Mikayla Miller story. Now, as originally reported, On April 20th, they said that it is not considered suspicious, says the DA's office. Monica decides that it is. So she posts this thing from the Black Panther Party, a guy named Adam Pena. Adam Pena is a violent gangbanger who murdered somebody in 2009, got away with it on a technicality. He murdered a gang member because he's a gangbanger himself. And he's just a violent thug, and this is what he does. And so he decides, him and Monica decide that they are going to say that Mikayla Miller was a 16-year-old girl, an athlete, blah, blah, blah. She wanted to study journalism. She wasn't a troublesome kid, never been arrested. She was a loving daughter, a member of the LGBTQIA NMLP, and that she was and this is where it gets, on April 17th, she was racially beaten up and lynched in your community, Hopkinton. What are you going to do about it? We are going to demand justice for Mikayla. We are pulling up. That is a threat. Okay. Demand. What are you going to do? How are you going to demand justice? The district attorney's office is investigating this. Okay. Not that there's much to investigate, but she wasn't racially beaten up. She got into a fight. She's not the first kid to get into a fight. Now, was she jumped? I don't know. Maybe they can look into that. But this isn't an investigation into a jumping. They're alleging murder and lynching. Okay. Now, were they lynched? Where were these? As it turns out, there were indeed 4 kids there, according to the district attorney's press conference today, at various points at some type of clubhouse. And she's gone through all those kids and gone through all their cell phone records. And she has confirmed that not one of them was anywhere near where she was at the time. She had a phone on her that traced her steps. Her steps were the exact amount of steps that took her from her apartment where she lived to where she died. She just walked there. No one else was around. All 4 other people alleged who lynched her, all kids, mind you, all these kids who lynched her, they all have alibis. They've been investigated. Okay. Most importantly, I've talked to actual sources about this. Not that they're interested in the truth or anything like that, but I talked to sources within the police department who have confirmed to me that this was a suicide, that she was found there. She had killed herself by hanging herself. And it's sad and it's tragic. And what's really disgusting here is that this vile cretin, Monica Cannon Grant, this evil, despicable human being, who I'm the only one who calls her out either. All these other people just blow this woman because they're scared of her. Because you see her, she's a fucking psychopath. That is a psychopath. And none of them have the balls to deal with it because they're pussies. I'll tell Monica to her face exactly what she is. She showed up an hour late to that goddamn protest in Roxbury. We stood up. We came to Hyde Park to protest her racism, and that bitch needed to fucking send her thugs out to come after us. Yeah, they didn't do fucking shit, did you, Chris Lewis? I hope you're watching this, you fucking pussy. You didn't do anything to us. You came after a bunch of chicks. Yeah, we're still here, and we're not going anywhere, buddy. You don't fucking scare us, tough guy. And then she sent some other guy, some retired gangbanger, looked like he, did a couple stints in the House of Corrections. Come on, give us this sign. Oh yeah, you're a tough guy, dude. We're really fucking scared of you. Nah, we're not scared of you at all. We came back 3 weeks later to a protest at the Boston Police Headquarters, and she knew we were going to be there, and she didn't show up on time, so we spoke for her at the podium, and we waited for her fat ass an hour and a half to waddle up there, and she had to bring Antifa with her to protect her. Yeah. And then we drowned her the fuck out. That's what we did. We drowned her the fuck out in her hate speech. So all these people out there should take a lesson from Turtleboy, because they're all scared of her. They're all just scared. That's all this is. They are frightened of her. Just stand up to her. Do what we do. She's scared of me. Monica Cannon Grant, I know she'll watch this. Monica Cannon Grant is frightened of me. Not because I'm like some physical threat, because she's probably got at least 80 pounds of me. I'm not going to lie. At least. Got to be about 250, I would say. So she's not scared of me physically. She has people there who can beat me up, obviously. But I don't give a shit. I'm like, I dare you to do it. I dare you to lay a fucking finger on me. I fucking dare you to. Not one of these people would ever lay a finger on me. And I'm begging him, like, please touch me. Please give it a shot. I'm begging for you. I would love to see what happens, but you don't have the fucking balls to do it. And that's all you got to say to these people. God, such cowards out there. Anyway, so Monica's on this whole thing where she's leading this mob to come to Hopkinton and declare war on the town. And it's right up her alley because it is a town that is a lot of liberals there who will jump in line and be like, well, a black woman is speaking, so I need to shut up and listen, because Robin DiAngelo taught me in White Fragility that if Monica Grant calls my town racist, it's fucking racist. And I better not say a goddamn word. Because if I say, I don't think I'm racist, that's white fragility. Those are your white tears. This is sick. This is literally the perfect example of critical race theory in action. Like that's what that book, that was the most popular book of the summer, White Fragility. And I went in the Wachusett High School summer reading lists. 5 teachers have that on the lists. That ends when I get on the school committee. There will be no more white fragility in the Wachusett Public School District. Not happening. So I digress. So let's get back to Monica here. So she's going to lead all these people here. And it's not going to be like a small deal. And I don't think the police chief has any fucking clue what he's getting into. None. I don't think he has any idea who Monica Cannon Grant is and what is about to happen to his town on Thursday. Now, I would like to go on Thursday. However, Rayla Campbell, I don't want it, like, without Rayla, it's not nearly half as fun. Like, she's the one that brings the speakers. She's got that whole thing. And I mean, I'd do it, but she's got all the equipment. I don't have the equipment. I can't get it in time in the next couple of days. I'd love to go. So if you guys know Rayla, talk her into it. She says she has like some thing at Cape Cod. She's giving a speech about critical race theory. Tell her to cancel. This is too big. This is too big of an event. We have to be in Hopkinton on Thursday. We have to let Monica Cannon Grant know. And I'll show, if we can get enough people to commit, I'll go. I don't give a shit. I'll go. We have to let these people know that hate speech does not win. That you're not going to desecrate this girl's death in order to build your brand off of it, which is all this is, just brand building for Monica. It's gross. So was there any evidence that this girl killed herself? I mean, was murdered? No, there's none. Absolutely none at all. So why did they think she killed herself? Well, Monica sees a white town and a black girl, and she's like, I can exploit this. Black people don't kill themselves. This happened this summer. Some black people killed themselves in California, and all these people are like, oh my God, someone's lynching black people. No, it was all a lie. The whole thing was a lie. Is there video evidence? No, there's nothing. I mean, she killed herself at night. It was in the woods. And a jogger found her running the next morning. And there's literally nothing outlandish about this. Now, what are they investigating? I don't know. These people work slowly. Like, I'm personally frustrated by that myself. And I've been in these situations before where they're like, the police departments will say, I can't issue the police report because it's an ongoing investigation. What the fuck are you investigating? Huh? What is there? Like, when you say that, all that does is fuel this baseless conspiracy theory that this woman was murdered. The alleged murderers have all been cleared. So what is there to talk about? There's nothing to talk about. So Monica's going to bring this mob there anyway. And all these idiots are all like, they all want an independent investigation. There's the guy from the Black Panthers, Adam Pena, who is leading this, who, by the way, has called up the town offices and threatened them. He's a nice guy. He called up and threatened them. The second that you saw Monica Cannon Grant's name associated with this, oh, Rayla's calling me. Hold on. Oh, no, they're doing that thing again. Never mind. So the second that you saw Monica Cannon Grant was involved in this, your immediate thing should have been to assume that she's lying, that there's more to the story, that something's up here. But so many people don't know about Monica Cannon Grant. And she gets cover from the media. We've seen that. Like, look at all these people, like Elliot. Oh, this fucking guy. I've written about him before. She because of Monica, that she's like labeled as like this legitimate person in society, right? She gets the benefit of the doubt as a result of that. Well, the Boston Globe says she's a good person. She's a civil rights leader, so we should believe her. The media created this monster. They know about the truth about Monica. They know that she's a racist. They know she said all these things, and they're okay with it. They're okay with it. This is like, oh, sometimes Monica's really passionate. It's okay. None of us would ever get the benefit of the doubt like that, but Monica does because she has racial privilege. There's no such thing as white privilege. There is black privilege. It's very clear. If you are loud and black and you're not afraid to call someone racist, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do without any type of rules. That's the privilege. That's what real privilege looks like. So this is what she says. The Karens are nervous that little old me is coming to Hopkinton. It took District Attorney Marian Ryan 12 days to contact Mikayla's mother. Wrong. That is not true, as we're going to see. She her mother obviously was notified that her daughter was dead rather quickly. So that's just a complete lie. A complete lie. 16-year-old Mikayla was jumped by her ex-girlfriend and 4 white males. She was not jumped by them. That's not what happened. Sergeant O'Brien stated to Mikayla's mother, "Trust me, it's a homicide," before saying, "Do not go public because you don't want everyone to know that your daughter is gay." I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that for a second. Like everybody in town knew this girl was gay. Nobody cared. Like it would be some big secret that like, oh yeah, the girl who's on the basketball team who, has a girlfriend, she's gay. Yeah. I'm sure that's what no, that never happened. Okay. And her parents, a lot of people are like, oh, I feel sorry for the parents. Fuck her parents. I'm sorry. Fuck them. They're not innocent in this. If your daughter dies and kills herself like that, and your first thought is, how can I exploit her death? No, you're a fucking piece of shit. Her parents fucking suck. I'm sorry. I feel bad anybody dies. Her parents are awful people, just awful people. If my child ever killed themselves like that, the last thing I would want is any kind of media attention. Especially I would want Monica Cannon fucking Grant. The fact that she's even associating with herself, her trashy parent. That's what she is. I'll just say it. No one else will say it. I'll say it. No police report. There was a police report. You just can't see it yet. The condition Mikayla was found in does not coincide with suicide. How do you know anything about the condition she was found in, Monica? You don't know anything. You're just making this up as you go along. So yeah, all these people and they all shared it, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, I couldn't believe it. And she's posting all this stuff about the community here. So she's like posting all this shit about how people in the community are like messaging her and like asking her about like, is there any truth to this? Like, for instance, one person says, "Hi, I heard Mikayla's parents are asking for privacy. I was looking at the event. I was curious about whether the parents were involved, comfortable with it. I'm sorry, who are you? I'm in the school committee in Hopkinton." Okay. So people are saying it's too bright for me to see. Okay. So how do I do that? Can I go like this? How do I deflect the light off? Hold on. How about this? If I do this, then there's a shadow. What do you guys think of that? I guess that's okay, right? All right, we'll just go with this. Do that a little more. All right. So anyway, back to what I was saying here. Where was I? So many tangents here. Yeah, so she starts shaming these people. Now, one nice girl, a high school student, mind you, named Jessica, messages her and is like, "Hey, Mikayla's my friend, basically. I can confidently say that your post is spreading misinformation. Yes, it was a tragedy, and we as a community are mourning for our classmate, but the way you're twisting the narrative is so disrespectful to her family and loved ones. There were only 2 kids who beat up Mikayla, and I completely think they need to face legal consequences. They most likely drove her to suicide, but it was suicide. Those teens are being investigated by the police. Hopkinton has many problems regarding diversity and inclusion, but to use the suicide of a young girl as political fuel is so completely disrespectful, and many problems regarding diversity, disrespectful and disgusting. The family needs to mourn. There needs to be justice, but it is in the process. I mean, the girl who wrote this is obviously left wing because she's talking about, like, you know, using words like diversity and inclusion and stuff like that. Like, you don't use words like that regularly if you're not woke a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, and Monica, what does she do? She just shames her. She just throws it up and shames her. And this is her mother, Calvina Strothers, who I'm trying to find more information about. And Calvina is, like, you know, basically fueling the fire, saying that the Hopkinton police did not log either incident. My daughter was ambushed. The state police did not conduct an investigation or speak to the person's involved. Yes, they did. Yes, that is a complete lie. They did. Okay. So Monica, anyway, this whole thing was going on, blah, blah, blah. All right. So then let me go to today's blog about this, and everyone believing this, including, by the way, Barstool fucking Sports. The Bridgewater State Barstool Sports account tweeted this out today, like, going to this. And I'm like, what a fucking joke that organization is. Remember, they used to be like edgy. No, they are the establishment now. This is what they do. They're fully on board with Black Lives Matter, and they're inciting race riots in Hopkinton. They took it down after I posted about it, and all these people are like, no, they're not affiliated with Barstool. Yes, they fucking are. They have their trademark and 16,000 followers on their account. They sell Barstool merchandise on there. They're associated with it, but they're far from the only ones that are falling for this bullshit. Like the Patriots running back Damian Harris tweeted it out today. It's only a matter of time till LeBron does too. He will get a hold of this. This is like right up his alley. He will believe it. Sean King is going to get on this. The town of Hopkinton has no fucking clue how any of this works. I do. I do this for a living. It's just getting started. They need to get out in front of this and end this. Make it very clear that this was a suicide, and open the arrest, like, end the investigation and clear it. End it. Over. Enough with this fucking bullshit, dragging this on. Okay? The police chief needs to get out there and fucking make that clear. So anyway, as I said, I spoke with the police sources in town. They confirmed that all of this was a lie. Okay. And yeah, so Monica today went, and by the way, this woman's involved in it. God, this woman is the epitome of pure evil. Not enough bad things can happen to her. Not enough horrible things can happen to this fucking cunt. And I hate to use that word, but not really, because she's a fucking cunt. That's what this woman is. Muriel Kramer. Okay. She is the woman who was in charge of the Massachusetts bail fund last summer. She bailed out a 3-time level 3 convicted rapist who was in jail for rape. And he went out and he raped a black woman in Boston, or Quincy rather. A woman was raped because this fucking woman, consumed with white guilt, wanted to let her rapist out of jail. She will live with that trauma forever. Meanwhile, this fucking cunt gets away with it scot-free, and now she's running for the Board of Selectmen in Hopkinton, and she's going to win because nobody's running against her. It's evil. Not enough horrible things. And I want to be clear, I don't dox people. Yeah, she lives at 39 North Street in Hopkinton. People should protest outside of her fucking house every day with pictures of rape victims. And, like, let her know, you enable rape, you monster. You fucking monster. I know you're doing this because you want to feel good about yourself, because you want to help black people. No. You're a fucking monster. That's what you are. Burn in fucking hell, cunt. That's what I think of you. Anyway, so she finds out about it. And of course, she knows the truth. She's talked to the police about it. She's talked to the Board of Selectmen about it. Instead of urging calm, she goes out there and she pours gasoline on the fire. And a woman, I mean, look at this message that this woman sent to Monica. She says, how can you be sure this wasn't a suicide? I'm speaking as someone who lost a parent to a suicide by hanging. So here's the person reaching out, and it's like, kind of like, I lost my parent to suicide. That's tragic. And what does Monica do? Say, oh, I'm sorry about your loss. No. That would require compassion, humility, humanity. Monica has none of those things. She goes, how can you be so sure that it is a suicide, being that you are not a doctor, The autopsy has not been completed, and there has been no adequate investigation. Get the fuck out of my inbox, Beth. It must fuck with your nerves that black people expect the same investigation if it was a white kid that was dead and black teenagers were involved. Blocked. See you Thursday, Beth. I mean, what an evil fucking cunt. Absolutely evil cunt. So, yeah. And then, of course, it's legitimized when this guy named Chris Driscoll here. Is his Facebook page still up? Let's see if his Facebook page is up. Let's call this dipshit. I hate these. If you support Monica Cannon Grant, you're trash, period. Let's see. Yo. All right. So look at this guy, Chris Driscoll. He posts, well, look how terrible she is. And she posts the influential thing from that she's the 78th most influential person in Boston. One of Boston's most influential people. Who should I listen to? Like, and he's not wrong. They are the media has legitimized her. That is the problem here. The Boston Globe and everything knows all about her. And they continue to put this stuff out there. And then when she goes and makes an allegation like this, they're like, well, she must be believable because she's this Boston Globe is over here kissing her ass. So she must be doing something right. She must be. So she went on, Marian Ryan today held a press conference, and Marian Ryan is not without fault in any of this either. Marian Ryan is the district attorney from Middlesex County. It's the biggest county in Massachusetts, and she's been in the news before. She fucked up the Jared Revy thing. She got his baby mama killed because she let him out with no bail. And she, weird looking lady too, by the way, weird looking. Now she's a liberal, of course. Every single district attorney in the state is a Democrat, healthy. And she is not like a Rachel Rollins liberal, but like, which is why Monica wants to go after her. But she's still scared of Monica, as you're going to see in this interview. So this is on WGBH today. This happened today, a couple hours ago. Jim Braude, who makes over $400,000 a year, $400,000 in your money. This is taxpayer money. This is a welfare TV channel. And people complain about me. Oh, you ask for donations. Yeah, I don't ask for taxpayer donations, do I? They do. They demand it. They just take it from you to put this trash up there. He makes over $400,000 a year, and he's going to invite the district attorney on, which is understandable. But he also brings on Monica Cannon Grant, which only further legitimizes her because everything she has to say is baseless. And so let's
after
listen to
16-year-old Mikayla Miller was found dead last month,
hanging
from a tree along a trail near her home in Hopkinton. That, according to WBZ, police there said they did not suspect foul play. A coroner's report has still not been released as of this taping, but today, District Attorney Marian Ryan said her office was not ready to comment on the cause of Mikayla's death. But in the weeks since her body was found, Mikayla's family has pushed back, calling her death a murder and accusing authorities of trying to cover it up. A Facebook post attributed to Mikayla's mother prompted a lot of outrage from activists online. Some of whom were saying Mikayla, who is Black and LGBTQ, was joined by the District Attorney Marian Ryan and Violence in Boston founder and CEO Monica Cannon Grant. Monica and District Attorney, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
District Attorney, can I start with you? Your announcement was made just minutes before we are taping this discussion. I gave a very brief overview. Could you fill in a few blanks? What did you say that I did not?
Well, I think the most important thing, Jim, is there's been a lot of discussion about whether we have reached final conclusions in this case. The takeaway from this is that is completely and totally false.
Okay.
There have been no conclusions reached in this case.
Okay, so this is a problem right here, is that she's coming out when she says this, like, there's been no conclusions reached in this case. That is only fueling the fire. Reach a conclusion, please. We know what happened. It was a suicide. You've talked to the police. You've talked to the Board of Selectmen. You know that it was a suicide. It's not that fucking hard to issue she's saying the medical examiner hasn't come back with it. Well, tell them to hurry the fuck up. because it's about to be a riot in Hopkinton. So she cuts the line. Okay. And what does that even mean? Does that mean her body she hasn't been buried yet? What is the medical examiner doing? Hurry the fuck up and examine the fucking body. It's not that fucking hard to tell if a kid died by suicide or was murdered. Okay. That's literally ends of this whole thing. So issue it. Enough. This whole, like, we're still investigating it thing is an attempt by her to take the middle ground, to make it seem like she's hearing both sides. But all it's doing, Monica doesn't care about that. Just make it clear. Make it clear. This was a suicide. End this.
The most important question is, what was the cause and the manner of Mikayla's death? That is a ruling made by the medical examiner. We haven't received that. We are awaiting that. The second piece is the allegations that are out there and that we have heard calls from about the fact that our office is either ignoring or, truly even worse, covering up what happened here because Mikayla was Black or because she was a member of the LGBTQIA community.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I want to be completely clear. That is patently false.
Patently.
What
District
we do
Attorney.
know,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
what we do know is a little bit of what you just showed. We
That's
do
good.
know
That's good that
that
she said
there
that.
was a physical altercation
Okay.
that took place on the evening of April 17th in a clubhouse or the common area of the apartment complex where Mikayla lived with her mother. We know that Mikayla was in that clubhouse. She was initially with two friends left. She was joined by 4 other teenagers.
Okay.
There was a physical altercation that took place. When the physical altercation had ended, the 5 of them stayed in that room for about 20 minutes or so.
Okay. Uh-oh.
The 4 people that had come to the complex got in a car with another teenager and left. Mikayla went back to her home. Mikayla's mother called at 7:20, the Hopkinton police, reported that her daughter had been, as you indicated, had been jumped. The police responded. They took a statement from Mikayla, documented that in a report, documented that they saw a bit of blood on her lip, consistent with what she had told them. She told them she had been shoved and she had been punched. They then continued that investigation, traveling to the home of one of the females known to Mikayla who'd been there.
Okay, so they get there and she'd been punched. Okay. This is, it's not good to get punched. Not the first kid in the world to get punched. Okay. It's not, no one's getting arrested. If one high school kid punches another, no one's getting arrested for that. Okay. We're here to discuss what this is allegedly a murder, according to Monica. Where's the evidence of a murder? So they're like, okay, so the cops see that she's got some blood on her because she got punched, and they're going to go to the home of the girl who allegedly punched her. What happens?
Found the two females who'd been in the clubhouse. They talked to them, took statements, and then went back to the clubhouse to make observations of some damage that was consistent with what Mikayla had told them. The plan
let me stop you there. District Attorney, for a second. Was a crime committed?
Look at this bitch. Oh, my God.
That night or no?
Well, what we know is that there was a physical assault that Mikayla described.
Was it a crime? Was it a crime?
Assuming that we were in a position where we could still be talking to Mikayla about what had happened, yes, I would expect that would have been the case.
Well, I don't understand what that means. Meaning, if based on what you know,
okay,
these
shut
other
the fuck
people
up,
going to be
Jim. Shut the fuck up. Was it a crime? Like, this is what they're focusing on. Like, they're moving a goalpost here. Was it a crime that she was assaulted? Are you investigating an assault? I thought you said she was murdered. So now you just want kids arrested for assaulting her? If she wasn't murdered, or if she hadn't killed herself afterwards, would you still be pushing for these charges? No, that's not what we're here to discuss. Okay. It's simple assault and battery. Okay, the district attorney's office is not going to lay the hammer down on some 16-year-olds because they punched another 16-year-old. It's not how it works.
Charged with assault,
Will they be
battery,
charged?
some crime based on what happened in that clubhouse?
Yeah, I thought they fought with.
As you
Remember the knife
know,
fights?
Jim, obviously we are always have to assess what is the evidence that we
Okay.
have.
I gotta just
With
laugh.
respect
Like
to-
literally a week ago, and Wrench Wench is right. Like literally a week ago, the narrative coming from the left was kids have knife fights once in a while. What's the big deal? Like she was stabbing another girl. You're gonna shoot her for that? When I was growing up, kids knifed each other all the time. And now all of a sudden it's, oh my God, she got a bloody lip. Why aren't the police arresting everyone? These fucking people. They can't keep their story straight. It's amazing.
Clearly, Mikayla reported to the police that she had been punched and shoved. Tragically,
There's no belt.
Mikayla has passed away.
I
We are
understand, but just one more
continuing to
time
invest-
quickly, if I can, and Monica, I'll get you in a minute. Based on what you know, I know Michaela's not here, was a crime committed on that scene?
Yes, based on what we know, yes.
Number two, if I may, District Attorney, quickly, what was the race of those who
Oh,
assaulted?
shut the fuck up.
Mikayla?
What was the race? Like, this is what white people love to do. There's like, who gives a fuck what the race was? She's dead. Okay. Was it racially motivated? No. So who gives a fuck? So it's worse if a black girl dies than if a white girl dies. Like, what a stupid fucking question. Your tax dollars are paying this fucking asshole to ask that question right there. That doesn't make you angry. I don't know what does.
My understanding is that those individuals, some were white and some were Latinx.
Latinx.
Monica, you've asserted in postings that Mikayla was murdered. That was your word. What's that based upon, Monica?
Okay, that's a fair question.
Well-
So, awesome face. So the question he just asked her, you said that she was murdered. You didn't say maybe she happened. You said she was lynched. What evidence do you have of that? That is the only question she is supposed to be answering at this point, is what evidence do you have that this child was murdered? Listen to her answer here.
Well, Jim, let's first start with the narrative that DA Ryan just created. I think it's important to note that Mikayla left this life April 17th. For 12 days, the family did not hear from DA Ryan.
So she's been talking for 30 seconds now. She hasn't addressed, like, how do you know it's a murder? That is the question. How do you know it's a murder? That's why we're all here right now, because you said she was murdered. What evidence do you have? Well, she didn't contact her for 12 days. Well, she did, but that's besides the point. What makes you think she was murdered?
And in regards to the information that she just gave you, we got that information a couple of hours ago, prior to this interview. Up until that point, they have not heard from DA Ryan, which is part of the reason for the frustration is the lack of communication.
District Attorney, Monica didn't interrupt you. I'm sorry, District.
This is
Hold
not
it a
your
second.
time.
Excuse
I
me.
mean, this is the district attorney from one of the largest counties in the United States of America being lectured by Monica Cannon Grant that it's not your time to talk. Unbelievable. And by the way, she still hasn't addressed the question, which is, what makes you think this is a murder?
District Attorney, Monica didn't interrupt you. Let her finish, and as soon as she's done, you are absolutely free to respond. Monica,
and remember this time,
continue
because
if,
Monica's
you
getting
would,
interrupted her
please.
later.
Thank you. The lack of communication has been the biggest issue in this case with the family. The lack of information being given to the mother has been the issue in this case. The reason
But I want to get to your assertion.
Yes, I'm
You're
getting to
asserting,
it, Jim.
Monica.
I'm getting to it,
In
Jim.
regards to it being a murder,
Oh, okay.
it's because the same day that these individuals jumped Mikayla at around 7 in the evening after her mom had called and reported that something happened, a few hours later, Mikayla leaves the house. Her location was shared via her Snapchat with these same individuals, and she ends up dead, right? Now, The frustration is this: if Mikayla was a white child,
Okay,
and
so
this was 5
they ask what evidence. So the what evidence do you have that this child was murdered? Well, she posted on Snapchat where she was. So a couple hours before, she got a bloody nose from them or a bloody lip. And 2 hours later, she posted on Snapchat where she was. Therefore, it's murder. This is what Detective Monica Cannon Grant has determined through her investigation, which, by the way, most investigations, you don't know how the investigation ends. She already has a conclusion. The conclusion is white people done murdered her. And she's just like, well, how can I get there? Well, this is the best I have. And again, she's this whole, millions of people know who Mikayla Miller is now because this woman is just saying that she murdered him, and she has nothing. She has no evidence of that whatsoever. Nothing. It's just, well, she posted on Snapchat. That's it. And now she's going to deflect and talk about something that has nothing to do with the question. If it was, let me guess. If she was a white girl,
Black children that engaged in this activity, not only would they have been charged for an assault,
right.
but they would have had their faces all over social media,
If
the
they
media,
were
and everywhere else. There's been a lack of transparency and accountability out of DA Ryan's office. The sergeant who was on this case out of her office, Sergeant Sean O'Brien, has been using bullying tactics with the neighbors. He even made a statement to this mother.
Monica,
there's so many allegations. I'll get back to you in a second.
So she's just smearing
if I can go down this list backwards, District Attorney, if I may, have you ruled out murder as a possible cause of death with Mikayla?
We have not reached a final conclusion here. And I apologize, Monica, for interrupting you. I'm sorry.
Of course she apologized.
For that.
They're so scared of her. They're so scared.
I'm sorry.
How about the issue of communication with the family?
That's what I want to speak to. Beginning, I believe it was on that Sunday or perhaps Monday, victim witness advocates from my office have been in touch with Mikayla's mom. I've had conversation with Mikayla's mom. Mikayla's mom has a representative that we have been talking to on a constant, almost daily basis.
Starting when?
I have talked to that representative at least 2 or 3 times every day this week.
So when was the first communication with the family, District Attorney? When was the first communication with the family?
I believe it was either Monday, the holiday. So that would be the police would have obviously were there on the 18th.
What date?
I believe
the
18th. I believe the first contact from the advocate was the 19th.
District Attorney.
So according to the District Attorney's office, that Monica's lying. There's a lie debunked right there. The District Attorney's office has been in contact with the mother since April 19th. And by the way, the mother's saying otherwise because the mother's a fucking liar. And Monica Cannon Grant's to blame here, but the mother's getting a free pass. The mother is a piece of shit. A huge piece of shit. A horrible mother. If this girl had a different mother, she'd probably be alive. But her mother is a shitty human being, so she's fucking dead. How do I know her mother's a shitty human being? She's associating herself with Monica Cannon Grant. End of story. Full stop. That's it.
Seems to me as a non-professional here, meaning me, that it's taken a hell of a long time to get the medical examiner's report here. Why so long, if I'm right?
Jim, you know that in every case, we wait for the results of the medical examiner. What they're doing, their testing, the lab results, all of what they are doing. There is absolutely nothing unusual about the fact that we are 2.5 weeks out and we don't have that yet. I understand. If this were my child, I would go to the ends of the earth for the answer. And I would have wanted the answer at the moment the police came to my door.
So you made a statement that these young people committed a crime.
How come Jim doesn't correct Monica when she interrupts? Because they're fucking scared of her. They piss their pants. They suck up to her. No, do never interrupt Monica, District Attorney Ryan. Never. And then Monica interrupts. Is he going to say shit to her? No.
They've been charged. Why haven't they been brought to justice?
Why haven't the teenagers who punched her in the lip been brought to justice? What the fuck do you want? So you want a bunch of 16-year-olds arrested and charged with simple assault and battery? That's what you want? Like, that's what I thought this was a lynching. I thought this was a murder. Now, all of a sudden, you want them arrested for a simple assault and battery? That's what this is about? You fucking liar. I see you, Monica. I know you're watching this shit. I know you fucking hate me because I'm that white boy from fucking Worcester who isn't fucking afraid of you. I'm the one fucking guy who's not afraid of you. And Rayla. She's not afraid of you either. And I know it. I know you're fucking full of shit, and you know it too. Okay, you know this girl wasn't lynched. You know she wasn't murdered. That's why you're changing the goalposts here and pushing it to, well, why weren't they arrested for punching her then, you fucking liar? Go.
Because in every case, the fact that something has happened, we have to make an evaluation as to, do we have evidence to go forward?
But you just said a crime was committed when they assaulted her. They jumped her, and you know that. You interviewed 2 out of the 5 people that you described, and she was jumped. What happened to the other 4 individuals that got in that car? Have they been interviewed? Who are they?
All of those people have been interviewed on several occasions.
And still no charges.
But District Attorney, can I, if I may, Monica, I want to get back to the question. Monica and I have both.
I'll play her press conference in a minute. She answers that question. I don't know why she just doesn't tell her. Like, she's like, she talks about the GPS of the 4 guys involved. I think she does get into it here, actually.
Fast. If you acknowledge that a crime has been committed, putting aside temporarily the cause of death and whether a crime was committed that led to the death. Was she murdered? Was there some behavior that led to her death other than an act by herself? Why haven't those kids been charged? You did say you believe a crime had been committed there. Why isn't that crime been attended to?
Jim, as you know, when we charge somebody, we have to have evidence to go forward. We are continuing to investigate that. One type of evidence would be having a witness who can testify to what happened. We could potentially have some kind of video surveillance or something that shows what happens. Unfortunately, the fact that we have a statement from Mikayla as to what happened is not sufficient evidence to go forward.
A victim statement saying I was beat and you believing that there's a crime is not enough to file charges against individuals that you acknowledge committed a crime.
So she doesn't want them arrested for lynching. Like, she's like, doesn't care. She's like, give it up on this whole thing. Like, she wasn't murdered. So she's like, why aren't they being arrested for punching her in the face? God.
Everything about this case has been a lack of transparency and insinuates that something is being hidden or covered up. And for those reasons, we're demanding an independent investigation and be taken out of DA Ryan's office. Because
who the fuck are you? You're a fucking street trash from Roxbury. You don't live in Middlesex County. You don't get to make demands about how the fucking Middlesex County District Attorney's Office conducts investigations because you don't like it. That's wonderful. Nobody gives a fuck what you like. You're nobody. You live in public housing in fucking Roxbury. That's what you are. You're fucking trash, Monica. You're fucking trash. You're low class. You don't get to make demands of the district attorney's office because you've arbitrarily decided that this doesn't meet up to your standards for what a proper investigation would be. Something you know fucking nothing about because, again, you have no background in law enforcement. You know fucking nothing. Nothing. And you think you do. But I think she kind of knows that too. And I think she's just like, let me see what I can get these white people to do if I just keep yelling at them. Let's see what happens.
we cannot trust in the fact that we're going to get all the answers necessary to what happened to Mikayla Miller.
District Attorney, if I may, I want to follow up on something that Monica said a minute ago, and I'm going to read from a Facebook posting from Mikayla's mother. Sergeant Sean O'Brien of the Millbury State Troopers Barracks warned me not to go to the media or else my daughter's, quote, sexuality will be exposed. Well, I did, and they will not cover up her murder. Please attend, meaning the event tomorrow, and share this post. What's your response to what Monica and Mikayla's mother have said about Sergeant O'Brien?
Oh, good.
I have heard that and seen that, obviously. That is something that we are looking into as to what that conversation was.
Makes it better. Yeah,
I want to go back if I can,
by your
just
police.
for 1 second.
Sure.
Because to leave the idea that there's something that could go forward that isn't going forward is just wrong. clearly people can go to the police and give the police a police report. That doesn't change the need for there to be a physical witness who comes into court to testify.
You acknowledge that blood was on Mikayla.
1 second, Monica, if you would. Monica, 1 second. I'll let you respond just in a second. Finish, District Attorney.
Good for you, Jim.
One possibility would be if we could find somebody else who witnessed that. We can find video surveillance that would show that. We are continuing to investigate that. There are no conclusions here. We want what Mikayla deserves here and what her family deserves is a fulsome investigation that gets us to the right answer about what happened and tells us what ended her very promising life. That doesn't happen as quickly as people would like. I understand that. But
District Attorney, if I may, District Attorney, both WBZ and the mother of Mikayla have asserted that upon finding her dead, she was tied to a tree. Is that true? What were those circumstances?
We are continuing that piece of the investigation as to the cause, manner, and death, any injuries. That is something we await from the results of the medical.
How hard is it to say no?
She was, respectfully, she was either tied to a tree or she wasn't tied to a tree.
We're not commenting.
I'm sorry.
Like, this is the part that makes
Monica,
this is the part that makes me think that Marian Ryan likes this. That this is fun for her because she's getting a little camera time. She's getting a little attention. How hard is it to say no, Jim? She wasn't tied to a fucking tree. Okay, she hung herself. How fucking hard is it to say that? Seriously, she's seen the police report. It takes 2 seconds to clear up. She likes it. She likes the attention.
Monica, you said you want an independent investigation. Short of that, what do you want to see the district attorney do, Monica?
I want her to step down and let the FBI handle this case. I feel like her office has mishandled this case thus far. To acknowledge that blood was.
Oh my God, the FBI is gonna come in. The fucking FBI. Monica, they're a little bit busy right now. There was a grandmother who appeared at the Capitol on January 6th, an unidentified grandmother. They're putting their pictures everywhere. Do you know who this woman is? Do you know who this insurrectionist is? Because she's a real threat. That's literally what the FBI has been doing for the last 4 months, is posting pictures of old people in Washington, D.C. on January 6th and be like, do you know this person? Give us their name. They're a little bit busy. And might I point out the fact that people like Monica Cannon Grant trust the FBI tells you everything that you need to know about the state of our FBI, doesn't it? How political the FBI has become. Like, I don't trust the FBI. Like, there was a time when liberals didn't trust the FBI and the CIA. Now they love them. Now they love them. And they love the army because, well, we're bombing countries and dropping, bombs all over Syria and places like that. But it was a transgender pilot that did it. So they're good. We like that. I mean, these people, they like the FBI. The fact that Monica, like the FBI, do you know what they did to Martin Luther King? Like, do you have any understanding of the FBI and their history with black people in this country? Do you? The fact that you're calling for the FBI to investigate this, Jesus Christ.
On Mikayla, when the police interviewed her, a report was taken. She stated she was jumped. She gave names. They talked to the individuals. They looked at the camera. If I was jumped by 4 people, and a few of those people, which the DA did not mention, are males. It was males and females. And I had blood on me and made a report. There would be an arrest. There needs to be an arrest.
No,
she acknowledged the crime was committed. Still no one has been arrested. This is unprecedented. It does not happen. If the roles were reversed, these people would be arrested.
If the roles were reversed.
Jim, Mikayla was found tied to a tree, standing on her feet with a belt wrapped around her neck. Mikayla had on a black sweatsuit that does not require a belt. Everything about this case says that something is being hidden, and it does not feel good, Jim. And for those reasons, we want an independent investigation with the FBI, and we're going to do an independent autopsy. That violence in Boston will be covered.
We're going to do, yeah.
District Attorney, 2 final things. Is what Monica just asserted true about what Mikayla was dressed in and the belt around her neck?
We're not commenting at this point. We are not yet.
Seriously, why can't you just say no?
And this is what Mikayla deserves and what people are entitled to. The first is that we do a thorough and unbiased investigation. When we have finished that, you have my pledge. We will release every...
Attorney, continue if you will, please.
Oh, did she interrupt her again?
Not saying
that we are able to release. We will put it on our website.
Not saying that there is.
Monica, let her finish, please.
Shut the fuck up.
Monica,
Your
let her
statement
finish, please.
contradicts
Mute
what
this
you
cow.
are saying right now.
District Attorney, continue if you will, please.
We will make that available. I have learned that people are entitled to two things. They're entitled to have you do a thorough investigation, and they are entitled to see the fruit of that work, which is why we released some pieces today, so that the public has confidence in the investigation that takes place. It is very simple to say we need to know something now, or why isn't this done? The question is, what we all should want is to get to the right answer.
District Attorney, when do you expect to get the medical examiner's
Ayanna,
report? What is, I don't know if it's a man or woman, what has he or she said to you in terms of timetable?
We have attempted to get a specific timeline,
time.
and we have not been able to do that.
District Attorney Ryan, Monica Cannon Grant, I appreciate your time.
She fucking
Thank you
did
both.
it.
We will obviously
She
stay
fucking did
tuned
it.
to this story. Thank you both.
This is unfucking. So it's not just the nut jobs like this. This is your United States Congresswoman from Boston. Mikayla Miller deserved to grow old. She had so many but she killed herself. So she had so many basketball games, road trips, and HBCU homecomings ahead of her. She deserved childhood uninterrupted. There needs to be a full, transparent, independent investigation. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm telling you, LeBron's going to tweet about it by tomorrow. It's going to happen. I've never seen a bigger fuck up than the Hopkinton police chief, who should resign, is complete incompetence to just, I fucking told you, listen to me. Have I ever been wrong? Ever? Police? Like, have I ever fucking lied to you people? Ever? I fucking told you this was going to happen. And you didn't fucking listen. Just listen to me. Just listen to me. Read Turtleboy, consume the content, watch the shows. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know these people better than you do. Get out in front of this, okay? Now you have a fucking congresswoman tweeting out that you're covering this up and that you're not capable of investigating this. Nice fucking going. Nice going. You fucking idiots. Seriously. How hard is it to just like she didn't kill herself? They all know she didn't kill. I mean, she wasn't murdered. She killed herself. How fucking hard is it to just say that? It's not. Just get out there and say it. Even at her press conference was even more thorough. The things that she was saying on here. Like unfucking, I can't believe that Ayanna Pressley did that, but like
that assault remains open and observed some damage both inside and outside.
I want to get to the part where she talks about like the times
which they photographed. Mikayla at this point was still at home in her apartment with her mother. Some approximately 9:30 to 9:45 that evening, Mikayla's mother went to bed, believing that Mikayla was still in the apartment. Mikayla's cell phone had a health app on it. That phone indicated that between 9 and 10 p.m. on Saturday night, the phone traveled a distance of 1,316 steps.
Awesome audio, by the way.
That distance of 1,316 steps is approximately
Thank you, Kimmy
the
Regan.
distance between Mikayla's home and the place where her body was suffocated. Mikayla in the woods off of a walking path and reached out to the police. When Mikayla was discovered, her phone was on her person.
Okay, so she had
and her
on.
backpack and other belongings were close by.
This was before the interview, by the way, before.
In the days since Mikayla's death, we
after
have
the
pursued,
interview,
as I mentioned, an extensive
she
investigation.
spoke at the Hopkinton Board of Selectmen.
We have confirmed the whereabouts of 4 Four
Okay.
teenagers who
Listen to
were
this.
inside the clubhouse in the altercation with Mikayla on that Saturday night. And to reach that conclusion of where they were and that they were not in the area of 34 West Main Street.
They're not.
We relied upon cell phone data
Okay.
and other digital
This
evidence.
is good. This is good.
Based on both witness statements and cell phone GPS. We know that the two females who were in the clubhouse earlier
Okay.
have a location confirmed overnight from 8:43 p.m. on Saturday
So she died at
to
9:30.
5:48 a.m. on Sunday.
So they have an alibi with
the
GPS.
two males that were inside the clubhouse left Hopkinton with a family member after the altercation and the conversation in the clubhouse. The vehicle that they were traveling in passed through the Easy Pass on the Mass Pike eastbound at 8:08 p.m.
Oh,
and exited the Mass Pike at 8:58 p.m. in Charlton.
oh, they're in Charlton.
The two males were also observed on a surveillance video inside a car buying and eating food at the Wendy's in
They're in
Sturbridge
Sturbridge.
at 9:06
It's like
p.m.
40 minutes from Hopkinton.
As to the third female who remained outside,
Okay.
we have witness information indicating her whereabouts being at her residence that evening. Let me again emphasize what
End of discussion. End of discussion. That's it right there. Monica alleged 5 kids killed this woman. Lynched her. Okay. So if they have alibis, if they weren't there when she died and they know what time she died, then they couldn't have killed her. That was great. That was good stuff right there. Why didn't she say that to Monica? Why? Because this is before the WGBH interview. Why didn't she say, look it, the two girls, we have their cell phone data. They were at this house from 8:30 till the next morning. They could not have possibly killed her. It is impossible. The two boys, we have a picture of them at a Wendy's in Sturbridge at the time when she died. It could not possibly have been them. The fifth girl, we have an eyewitness putting her somewhere else at that time. Okay, so for them to get on here, for Ayanna Pressley to say, we need a full investigation, it sounds like they got it. If they're pulling goddamn surveillance tapes from a Wendy's in Sturbridge, I would say that the district attorney's office and the state police are doing a pretty thorough investigation of this, that they are not taking this lightly. Unfortunately for Monica, it's just not reaching the conclusion that she wants, which is a black girl's murder, because there's nothing that makes Monica happier than finding out that a black person was killed. A black person committing suicide for Monica is useless. She can't monetize black suicide. She can't monetize black on black crime. There's only one thing that Monica of the Monicas of the world can monetize, and that is white people murdering black people. That's the only thing that they can monetize. And so she hears this. She's like, what fucking good is Mikayla Miller to me now? What? She's a black girl that committed suicide. That's fucking boring. What am I supposed to do with that? That is how Monica thinks of this girl. It is fucking evil. And so, and again, where are the parents? Why are the parents allowing the circus to continue? Fuck her parents. Okay.
one thing. Nothing about what I have said, both as the district attorney, that our obligation is twofold.
Okay, now listen to some of the questions.
It is to do a thorough and present home on Revolutionary Way to who else may have been in the woods or that area on Sunday. We do not have any information as to that at this point.
And do you have other evidence that she walked there, possibly from a video camera somewhere other than her health app on the phone?
No, and we don't know that we only know that between 9 and 10 o'clock, she took 1,316 steps. Where that went or how that went, we don't know that. We do know that that distance is approximately the distance from her home on Revolutionary Way to where she was found.
And was her girlfriend among those teens who were at the clubhouse?
Does Andy
It's
know
our
talk about
understanding
this?
that one of the females there is someone with whom there was a relationship.
Did you know if she was inside or that female who was outside?
She was inside. It's our understanding that that person was one of the females inside.
With had a physical altercation with her, or
she was present inside the clubhouse as is being referred to. And just to be, I know there have been some questions as to whether this was a clubhouse in the nature of a boys and girls club or some kind of supervised. This is an apartment complex. It's a really lovely kind of common building
Andy
area.
knows on the case.
Pool tables, seating.
I like to see this.
I believe particularly relevant. It had Wi-Fi.
Someone needs to get in contact with my man Andy No for me. He's a little bit big for me, but he's commenting on this and he is tweeting up a storm. So all these reporters are asking stupid questions, being like, this is heating up, man. This is about to be a national fucking story everywhere. And Turtleboy was the first one on it. Of course, we won't get credit for that, but that's okay. So Joe Curtatone, of course, tweeted about it and he said, Massachusetts should come to a stop over the death of Mikayla Miller. Something horrific happened. Yeah, she killed herself. So there's that. You're the mayor of a city and you issue a veiled threat about mass unrest due to completely unsubstantiated claims about racial foul play in this teen's death. Good for you, Andy. No, good for you, my man. How did you verify the details of this shocking story? Were you a witness? And the tweet says, from another blue check mark with 127,000 followers, the pronouns in the bio, and climate crisis says, she says, this sweet child was jumped by 5 white people. Well, that's just a lie. Some of them were Latinx. And hours later was found dead, tied to a tree. But authorities initially tried to claim her death was not suspicious. It's not. This happened 2 weeks ago. Yeah, but the news has been silent because it's not a story. Okay? It's not a story. The whole thing is fucking made up. I mean, it's just amazing. Thank God for Andy No, he's on the case. Thank God. Now it's going to get telling you. Again, they have no fucking clue, guys. The police chief in this town has no clue what he just signed up for. He doesn't understand the internet like I do. He doesn't understand how these people work. He doesn't get it. What it's about. Monica Cannon Grant is the Sean King of the East Coast and of Boston, except she's actually black. And she doesn't like people like Sean King because they ride, their parents rode white penis, as she would call it. Latinx. That's what, yeah, that's what liberals call them now. Latinx. All right. You guys have any questions for me? Because I'm sure there will be more and more now that Andy No and Ayanna Pressley and everyone will. This will be the story, the big national story of the week coming soon. So pay attention. All of the thousands of acres of land in Hopkinton, they really think kids killed this child. Yeah, that's a good point. 0.7 miles from the police station, this kid was murdered. And I feel sorry for her, Like she was, this poor fucking girl, man, she killed herself. That's sad. That's a serious problem, a mental health crisis. And instead of talking about that and things that we can do to prevent teen suicide, we're here pretending that this girl was murdered. That's what we're doing right now. Think of what she would think of that. I'm dead, and people, instead of talking about why I got like this, they're talking about was I murdered? No, I wasn't fucking murdered. What are you doing? Have you talked to Fetherston? He's getting a permit. Oh, okay. Well, if Featherston's going, I'm going. Even if she was murdered, it would be because of the love triangle. So Rayla also texted me, and because I'm like, Rayla's she's telling me she's got this critical race theory. Thank you, Kimmy, for the other donation. He says she didn't have anybody to talk to. Exactly. That's a good point too. She's sad, man. Rayla says, let me see what's going on, because she's got this conference in Cape. It's got to be canceled. This is the most, you want it, fuck Cape Cod. This is the most important thing right now. What's happening in Hopkinton. The nation is going to be watching this one now. AOC is going to tweet about it any minute. Ilhan Omar, if Ayanna Pressley's tweeting about it, Ilhan Omar's right behind. They're all right behind. Would not surprise me if Joe Biden tweets about this. It would not surprise me. with some bullshit about like racial justice or some bullshit, because that's what Democrats do. They monetize the deaths of black people. That's what they're better at than anything. They like when black people die, as long as they're killed by white people. They don't give a shit if black people die, or they're useless to them. If they're killed, they're run over by a truck or something. What the fuck are they going to do with that? Nothing. They want black people to be murdered by white people. It is their point of their, it's how they make a living. People like Monica Cannon Graham. Okay. Any other questions? Kaylin Poole says, once the truth comes out, the media will, yeah, maybe. I think, no, once the truth comes out, they'll move on to the next story. She'll be of no use to her after that. They'll find a new thing. I'll have a history podcast tomorrow. Yeah, new book's going to be a while. The golf tournament, we're moving it to July 26th. I'm going to make a post about that tomorrow. Yeah, Turtle Club will be back tomorrow night. It's still going to be free tomorrow because I'm not going to charge people for the Turtle Club until I know that it's completely functional. So tomorrow will be whatever, rough draft number 2. I know you need to find every post that says knife fights are normal, but fist fights need jail time. That's a great point. Stacey, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm fucking safe. Nobody's gonna touch me. Nobody would dare fucking touch me. I'll tell you that much right now. I fucking dare. I dare. I wish a motherfucker would try to touch me at one of these events. They won't. I dare them to, because I got you all. People like, you're alone. No, I'm not. I got you all there with me. We'll be live streaming it. They won't. They won't dare. Fetherston knows what he's talking about too, and he's from that area. He's from Ashland, one town over in the marathon route. He says if he says the National Guard's coming, it would not surprise me. And because the police chief fucked this one up, he should resign. I don't know what the topic will be yet. I haven't even thought about it. Well, I'll think of something. Don't worry. I know. It's like, I really wish motherfucker would. I know Ernst ain't going to touch me. Are you in cahoots with Cyraraxx? Yeah. So I guess, I don't know who Cyraraxx is, but I guess, Kay Peter is still talking about me nonstop on her program. She's accusing me of conspiring with the weirdo of the week, whoever the fuck that is. Because apparently he mentioned me on his, one of his streams. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I don't really care. Kay Peter's irrelevant. She's a fat, disgusting, horrible looking woman who lost 2 kids permanently to the state. Her daughter was missing last week. I found her. Luckily, we shared that missing thing and we helped bring the girl home. And Kate went right back to doing what she usually does, get drunk and talking to weirdos on her show because she doesn't care about her kids. So I really could care less about her. Exactly. Anyway, anything else? Exactly. Like I go after, see, that's the difference between her and I is that what are they, who I'm talking about, the things that I'm talking about on my show, the stories that I'm breaking, Ayanna Pressley's talking about them. Andy No's talking about them. People on the district attorney of Middlesex County's talking about this, right? Those are the kind of people I go after. I don't go after retards that have a YouTube channel and are clearly mentally unbalanced. I don't do that. I go after important people who have actual influence and matter. That's the difference. Okay. Anything else? My pleasure. Thanks for all the donos tonight too. Appreciate that. For being donated to the program. You guys really keep this thing going, baby. What time tomorrow? 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Exactly. How did Maine become an independent state? Oh, it's really kind of boring. It's not really simple. I don't know if it would take up a whole show. So there was in 1820, Missouri wanted to become a state. So if Missouri was going to be a state, it was going to be a slave state. And the problem with that was that at the time, there was an equal amount of slave states and free states. So there would have been the same amount of senators from each, the same amount of senators were from slave states and free states. If you add a state like Missouri and it is pro-slavery, then you're going to add 2 pro-slavery senators, which gives them the majority. So something called the Missouri Compromise agreed to add Missouri as a slave state. And in part, Maine, which was part of Massachusetts at the time, even though we don't border each other, you have to go through New Hampshire to get to it, Maine would become a free state. And that is how Maine became a state. It is the Missouri. They were part of the Missouri Compromise. They were the compromise, essentially. Who is Fetherston, please? So John Fetherston is a former selectman from Ashland. Great guy, awesome guy. He's heavily involved in the Minihane world, and he's one of the sharpest guys and coolest guys you'll ever meet. That's the best way I would sum up Fetherston. He is very resourceful. He knows politics. He knows how to get a permit for places. He organized the Minihane Peace Rally in Sherborne. He's taken on Bob Murchison before anybody else did, before he was cool. And he looks a lot like Mike Pence. How's my mental health been? I mean, as good as it can be, It's like I haven't had any episodes, so that's good. I have some other stuff going on in my life that's quite frankly puts a lot of shit into perspective. So, but, just back a few months ago, just eliminating bad people from your life that, and I'm, let's be honest, like, I'm a ticking time bomb here with what I do for a living. Like, it's not healthy to constantly get death threats and, get sued by everybody and getting deplatformed. And like, I play it off and I deal with it and I roll with the punches. But like, after a while, it does a number to you, man. It really does. And it affects your personal life. And, you surround, you bring some people into your life who, you trust, and they turn out to not be trustworthy. And, just things compound each other. And, hopefully that doesn't happen again. So you say that things are fixed, but you're never really fixed. So I'm just learning how to cope with it. And I think that the best thing I did ever was just bury myself in work, get back to what I do best. That helped me get through that. But certainly you're never really fixed. You don't fix mental health. That's not how mental health works. But anything else? That's a good question. Thank you for asking that. There's got to be a threshold when you blow up that shit don't matter. Yeah, I mean, you'd think so, but not quite sure what you mean by that. But oh, thank you. See, comments like that help me out. I appreciate that a lot. Because that was a really low point for me, I do need a dog. Hopefully not one that bites people, but I want to get a dog when my kids are old enough to walk it. I'm not walking it every day by myself. Like, I grew up, I had a dog, but I had to walk the dog. It was a chore, So once my kids are old enough to walk the dog without getting kidnapped. Oh, my daughter's going to be 6 years old tomorrow. It's her birthday. I got to get her a present. What do you get to the girl that's like a spoiled girl who has everything, like from Holden? What do you get her? She's going to be 6 tomorrow. I'm thinking about Cinco de Mayo, baby. She's got, I got her, I like to get her sports stuff usually. Got her a bike before, soccer balls, basketball. Thinking about getting her a tennis racket, maybe, because she's expressed an interest in tennis. Maybe get her a tennis racket. I don't know. If you guys can come up with something, I don't know. Yeah, she won't appreciate that. She'll be like, what? You give me your time anyway. What? What do you think of the case? I like it. I like the case. I was interested in first because it's just hard to imagine Kirk Minihane, the crazy guy and who's like funny, doing a serious thing like a it's well produced. You know, Barstool has a lot of obviously money and resources, so they're able to get them to South Carolina. They went to Vermont. I've been listening to it. It's good. It's very good. It's a little confusing. It sounds kind of like a Turtleboy episode, quite frankly. The people that they're interviewing and meeting in South Carolina and Brockton, it's just like they're all ratchets. And he's chasing around. Kevin Mailer's a serial killer, right? That's where they're going with this, I think. I don't know. So it's interesting. It's a good podcast. Listen to it. It's called The Case, if you guys haven't. There you go, Brittany. A full year in school next year. Absolutely. Her daddy on the school committee. That's what she's getting for her Christmas. Oh, actually, that's not a bad idea. We got a ton of horses around here. That's actually a very interesting idea. I like that, Suzanne. Now, because we got a bunch of horse farms around here. Ooh, I like that. They can take a horse riding lesson when they're 6, right? Oh, I like that idea too. You guys are interesting. She has a half day tomorrow. That's the thing. They have half days Wednesdays still for some reason. So I wouldn't have time to do that. All right. Anything else, guys? Yeah, I heard it was referenced on there, but they scrubbed out that audio because they mentioned Greg Bates. All right, anything else? Court updates, I don't have much, really. Not much, really. DeSantis or Cruz? You know the answer to that. You must be new here. We all know the answer to that one, right, guys? Heavy D. Next president, 48th president right there. Heavy D. All right, so it's been a while. It's been a long episode, so I guess we'll just call it a night, guys, and we will talk to you guys all tomorrow night. Come on, again, it's not on the YouTube channel tomorrow. It's part of the Turtle Club. I broadcast directly from the blog itself, tbdailynews.com, so get on there, join the chat, join the fun, and we will see you guys all on tomorrow night. All right, peace, Turtle Riders.